Hey everybody, this is Lewis Speaks 2020, and today I want to talk to you about people pleasing and our need to be liked. We as human beings have this innate need to be liked and validated by other people, but at what cost? At the cost of our self-esteem, at the cost of our self-respect, at the cost of our boundaries. For many years, I lived my life as a chronic people pleaser. I had the disease to please. I always needed to make sure that other people were happy and that their needs were met. And this led to a lot of hidden resentment. I had a lot of secret animosity towards other people because I expected them to do the same for me. And lo and behold, it really was a symptom of poor boundaries. I had poor boundaries with other people. And so I would project that onto them. I would project my dissatisfaction with myself and my anger and animosity towards my inability to protect myself onto them. And I would always expect them. And also I would basically charge them with the responsibility of taking care of me. I would outsource that and externalize that when really that was my responsibility. That was my responsibility to take care of my own needs and make sure that I was good. Now, we as human beings, we have a natural innate need to be liked, to be validated. And you ask yourself, at what cost though? At the cost to your self-respect, the cost to your self-esteem, the cost to your boundaries. Is it worth it? Is their validation worth the cost to your voice, your personal feelings, your happiness? And the answer to that for me is no, it's not worth it. But for years, I was a chronic people pleaser, always trying to make everybody happy. And what helped me to kind of break out of that bad habit was one, realizing that the people that you're working so hard to please, they really don't give a damn about you. They like what you do for them. They like the fact that they're able to control you. They're able to influence you. They're able to get you to come undone over them. They don't really like you. They like what you give them. So knowing that, I realized I was working so hard to please people that really didn't like or care about me. I realized also in high school, going back, half of those people I don't even speak with anymore. But yet and still in high school, I was working so hard to try and please them. I wanted them to like me and accept me, because if they like me, they will want to be my friend. And if they want to be my friend, then that means that I don't have to be lonely, and I have people helping and supporting me. But I realized that the more that I did for myself, the more I was able to realize that, wait a minute, I don't have to please other people. My happiness, my protection, that's an inside job. That's my responsibility. And so I've realized that by me taking more of the bulk of that responsibility and doing the work, it really helped me to kind of build those stronger boundaries and realize that while I do appreciate, your validation, I don't need it to exist. While it's very thoughtful and it's very kind, I don't need that in order to feel whole and good about myself. So that's one thing that kind of helped out. Another thing that helped me kind of break out of the bad habit of people pleasing is realizing that there's no bunk beds and caskets. When you check out of this world, when you die and transition from this life, you go by yourself. All the people that you're working so hard to please, they won't be with you in the final hour. Very few people that you know now will be with you, I would say, 5 years from now. The people that you call friend right now, half of them won't even stand the test of time. So you're working to please people who won't even last. So that also kind of helped me break out of people pleasing. Another thing that kind of helped me break out of people pleasing is just realizing that, there's a scripture in the Bible that says the former things will never be brought to mind. We're going to eventually graduate from this life and move into a paradise where none of this that we're going through right now will be brought to mind again. So we're agonizing over things that will never be brought to mind in the future. You know? So I realized that me people pleasing, me trying to make sure that everybody else was good at the expense of my own needs. Why? When it won't even be recalled. Half of the people that I'm working so hard to please, they won't even be brought back to my mind again. So kind of just focusing on that and zeroing in on that really helped me to kind of just break out of that bad habit, you know? And just thinking about all the times that I worked so hard to please partners. Even now, just recalling that time when I worked so hard to make sure that they were happy and the dinners were made and they were good and they had rides back and forth to work. Just thinking about all that and thinking about how I did all that then and where are they now? I am my longest relationship. I have been with me for so many years. When you think about that, you are your longest relationship. That'll also help you to not care so much about how other people feel and try and people please to the point of denying your own needs. Because when you realize it, like I said, when you really think about it, how you're your own relationship, you're your longest relationship, it's important that you please yourself and make yourself happy. Now, this doesn't mean to be self-centered and not be concerned with other people and how they're doing. Definitely. But there's a point where the people pleasers, those who are chronic people pleasers, they start to deny their own needs. They start to ignore their own feelings, you know, for the sake of approval from other people. And that's when it becomes really problematic. When you start to ignore your own needs and place high premiums on other people's needs as opposed to your own, that's when it becomes problematic. Like right now, you know, the affirmation that I use when I wake up every morning going forward, you know, because I gave this a lot of thought. My voice is more important than their approval. My voice is more important than their approval. See, I don't care so much if people like me right now. I now place higher premiums on being respected than being liked. Because after years of chronic disrespect, after years of putting yourself last, after years of doing that, that gets old. You start to realize that never really got you anywhere. You thought that for the moment it gave you approval, it gave you validation, they liked you, ooh, they liked you. But then you realize it wasn't you that they liked. It was their ability to get over on you. It was your passivity they liked because they could capitalize on that. You know, they liked your meek nature, but they didn't like you. And so for years, I misconstrued them liking me. Or rather, I misconstrued, you know, their appreciation for my passivity for them liking me. You know, but it wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. And I realize that now. And so now I've realized the important thing is to like myself. Because I'm going to have to be the one to come home to myself every day. I'm the one that has to look at myself in the mirror every morning. And if I'm not pleased with that person in the mirror, if I let other people take advantage of me, if I care so much more about their reflection as opposed to my own, that's going to cause me to feel very depressed. That's going to cause me to feel very angry with myself. And I have to come back home to me. You know, I know growing up, parents used to say to their kids, you know, if you get into a fight at school, you better make sure that you beat that other person down, because if you don't, then you're going to have to come home to me. And they were kind of teaching their kids that if you don't stand up for yourself and articulate your needs and protect yourself and defend yourself, you're going to have to come home to you. And you're going to have to deal with the regret and the anger and the animosity and the resentment because you didn't stand up for your needs in the moment, you know? And that's so true. That is very, very true, you know? So I encourage people out there, you know, who are chronic people pleasers, realize for one that you are worth every love and every sacrifice that you give to everybody else. You are worth all the love you give to everybody else. And it's not an act of love to continue to prioritize other people's needs while putting your needs on the back burner. Because a lot of times you teach people how to treat you. You know, if they see that you're constantly putting your needs to the back burner, guess what? They're going to put your needs to the back burner too, because if it's not important to you, why should it be important to them? You have to teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. Prioritize your needs. Let other people know that you are special and you are somebody who is worth caring for. And if they can't follow suit, if they feel like they can't give you the love that you deserve, that's okay. They're not ready. That's your responsibility to cut them off. On to the next. Because a lot of people are not ready for you. A lot of people, they enjoy your hand and not your heart. They like how you give, but they don't like how you feel, genuinely feel. You know, so you need to find people who love how you feel, who love your heart and not just your hand. So that involves, for one, prioritizing yourself, pleasing yourself, making yourself happy, even if it means that they don't like you. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, you also pay your own rent, you pay your own bills, you come home to yourself, you do so many things by yourself and for yourself and with yourself. It comes to the point where people are obsolete. Either they match your efforts, exceed your efforts, or they're cut off because you don't have time. You know, I realized as I've been adulting, I realized that the more I do for myself, the more I take care of myself, the more I feel the need not to please other people. You know, the more I do for myself, the less need I have to please them. Because they're not giving me nothing, they're not feeding me, they're not effing me, they're not financing me. So here I am caring so much about what these people think. For what? For what? Because at the end of the day, you're the one doing the heavy lifting. You're the one getting yourself out of bed. You're the one that has to muster up the motivation to rise up in the morning. So the more you do for yourself, the less you care about what they think. You know? So I encourage people to start really doing more for themselves. Start loving on themselves hardcore. Because you'll start to see that the ones you care so much about pleasing really don't care a lick on a snake about you. They don't care at all. So why are you always the one doing the heavy lifting? Why are you always the one doing the most? Start working on pleasing yourself. Start working on pleasing your great creator and making him happy. You know? So I hope that this video was helpful, and I wish everybody a wonderful, wonderful year. Peace, everybody.